Joining us now, human rights lawyer David Haig. David, good morning. Lovely to have you on. I just want to point out to people watching that actually Parliament is in recess, is it not, Pete, at the moment?
Yes.
So are the Lords actually sitting at the moment? Are they're sitting, but not what's happening?
Well, the committees continue to sit even if Parliament is in recess, and also this report is just out today. I mean, the report was signed off before recess happened, so yeah, it can be released within recess, and that actually sometimes is what they do. They time these things to make sure there aren't too many reports out at once.
To be honest, David, when you look at Rwanda and you look at the debacle that this has become and the hill upon which Sunak has decided to die, there doesn't seem to be anything that we don't feel cynical or not know about on a daily basis. People have got to the point now where they go, Rwanda, despite Richie having a bet with Piers of £1,000 that people will leave. I don't know or speak to anybody who supports this, David Haig.
Good morning to you both. I mean, absolutely. I mean, when I looked at the news coming out, I mean, it's like you said. I mean, we know all the things that the report has essentially concluded and found after a process of bringing in evidence and from various different parties, human rights bodies, etc. We all know this already. As did Rishi Sunak, as do all those involved, that the problems in this bill, it sets them all out. And it's a start of, I think, a week that's not going to be comfortable for the PM. You've got the committee stage of the Lords starting last week. Even I think it was Thursday, you had the Council of Europe also coming to similar damning conclusions. And of course, the Council of Europe findings often are relied on by the European Court of Human Rights. So all of this basically is evidence, if we didn't need it already, that there's a big legal battle coming here and in Europe once this bill passes.
It's just, Peter, I still don't get this, and I've been quite vocal about this. If people could talk about the ECHR and whatever. What I don't understand, I don't want to get into a debate about the rights and wrongs, but I don't understand. I don't know where David agrees. Why can we not come up with a system that says we will process these damn people in our own country or in our own way without spending months and millions of pounds trying to justify, explain that a country might or might not be safe? Why can't we, the United Kingdom, do it ourselves?
Well, processing is the very big issue, and you might have 500 people going to Rwanda if the scheme is 100% effective.
500
yes.
Against 170,000.
Well, processing is the big issue here. This is the massive issue. Now, Rishi Sunak would say that he's put a lot more staff into it. They've become more efficient. The system has become more efficient. They have processed some of the backlog. But the fact is there are still thousands, tens of thousands of people, as you correctly point out, Jeremy, who are waiting to be processed. They're often staying in hotels. They're in this limbo, essentially. Some of them are genuine asylum seekers. The majority, about 70% or so, are deemed to be genuine asylum seekers, but 30% of them aren't. What do we do with those people? Do they get repatriated? What happens? How do we discourage people coming across in boats? Well, that's the point of the Rwanda plan. But this report from the Joint Committee on Human Rights, which is the Lords and the Commons together, it's interesting because it's saying there are actually fundamental human rights, such as access to a court, for example, that the Rwanda plan doesn't allow these people to have. So there are serious issues here. And I think that Rishi Sunak, continuing to push with this policy, really wants it to get happen, declaring Rwanda a safe country. We'll see if it actually happens.
The Prime Minister's desperate to get this ahead.
Hey.
But I think there is a big part of the population who think, it sounds like a good idea, we want something that's going to deter people from coming over. Why is it that it's taking so long to just get this policy literally off the ground?
Yes, well, you're absolutely right. Well, it's certainly passed the House of Commons. It's in the House of Lords at the moment. This is from the Joint Committee on Human Rights. Yet another blow to the legitimacy of the policy. But the
it's
fact
not a surprise that they've come to these conclusions.
It's not a surprise at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. But the fact, I mean, you've got people like Baroness Helena Kennedy on there. She was always going to say this. I mean, she's an eminent KC, but at the same time, pretty predictable what she might say. But listen, I think this will probably become law relatively quickly. The question is, will there be challenges in the courts? Are there ways? Do these flights take off? And essentially, do these people go to Rwanda or not?
David, answer me, not really from a human rights point of view. We know where you stand, but just answer, if you can, my question there about how, unless I'm missing the point, I haven't met many people in this country who don't say this is an absolute farce. We should be dealing with processing in our own way, in an efficient, cost-effective way. That, whether or not people jump up and down and say, oh, we should have everybody, there are people who should not be allowed to stay in this country. As Peter pointed out, 70% yes. But we need, surely, as a country, to find a way of dealing with the other 30% instead of just talking about it and chasing dreams, don't we?
Well, absolutely, I agree with you. And I said before that we're at the stage now that the plans that should have been put in place years ago haven't been done and haven't been done effectively. So whatever happens now really is too little too late. And it's all about politics and prime ministers trying to save themselves rather than actually dealing with the problem. I mean, the problem can be dealt with, but it takes time, and we haven't put that time and we haven't put the homework in. And that's the problem that you've got. And, you know, constitutional butchery of our human rights laws isn't the answer, because when we do that, it doesn't just affect this policy. It's the start of a slippery slope. And I think that's one of the worrying things in all of this. It's not just about Rwanda. If we have governments enabling to disapply this law or disapply that court when they choose, that's the start of a very slippery slope.
Very interesting, David. As ever, thank you so much indeed. Peter, for now.